Games in the JAL 24 season were last played on Sunday, May 21st. There was an Express versus Lynx single game and then a Lawmen versus Sasquatches doubleheader. The Lawmen and Sasquatches both entered this game day winless. It was a chance for each of them to get into the win column. Oppositely, in the first game, the Lynx came in 2-1, ranked number 2 in the league, and the Express came in 4-0, ranked number 5 in the league. That's where we'll start. First inning, Caden Schultz getting a nice fielding out there to help out Connor Vermilya. But Josh Burkhardt, a few plays later, grand slams it. Connor Vermilya, however, able to get out of the first inning with only 5 runs allowed. That's a very good inning for him. Bottom half, Tegan Connors really struggled in this game, and he gave up 10 runs in the first inning. Just couldn't find the board. The Express weren't even hitting him. He just had no command of the ball. Couldn't hit the zone. We're skipping to the third inning, and despite how poorly Connors was pitching in this game, the Lynx offense is good enough to just win it with the bats. And as we'll see in this third inning, they're able to tie it up and take the lead. This single from Connors ties it. Later, Josh Burkhardt gets a triple to put 20 on the board. Here's a grand slam later by Tegan Connors, and the Lynx would eventually max out the third inning with 30 runs. But the Express are going to be diligent when they're on offense. They're going to make Tegan Connors throw strikes, and he kind of starts to find the zone more. In the third inning, he gives up 3. So in the fourth inning, Connor Vermilya is going to need to have some good pitches and keep the score within margin of reach, and he does that. Look at the slider that he strikes out Tegan with on the very edge of the zone. So this is still within reach for the Express, less than 10 runs, and we're back to Tegan not being able to throw strikes. We're down to just a 6-run game before he's able to get out of the fourth, so we're going to the last inning. The Express have a shot to pull the upset, but they're going to need another good inning from Vermilya, and he's going to get some more help from Caden Schultz. Look at that catch at the home run line, but then Tegan Connors going to blast a grand slam to push the margin back above 10. Caden Schultz makes another incredible catch, this one even way better, robbing Josh Burkhardt at the home run line. Again, this one was better because he's falling down, and he makes the catch one-handed. Check it out in slow motion. It might be the best catch of the season so far. That is very difficult to make sure you don't go past the line, and then the concentration to catch it left-handed as well because he's a righty. All right, in the bottom of the fifth, Tegan finally has a good inning, closes it out in 4 total pitches. So the Lynx win it 36-28. Not the game most people were expecting, mostly because Tegan Connors gave up 26, which is kind of rare for him. I think a lot of people thought the Express would get blown out in this game, but they hung around and played pretty well. Defensively, that is, in the field. Connor didn't pitch particularly well, and offensively they didn't get any hits, but they made the game played on their terms as best they could, and it gave them a chance to win. On the stat sheet, we can see a massive game for both Burkhardt and Connors batting, especially Burkhardt, though. 8 hits, 4 triples, a homer, 21 RBIs. My biggest takeaway from this game probably was that the Lynx are a team with such good batting that even when Tegan doesn't pitch very well, they can still put a lot of runs up and just outscore you. All right, let's move to the doubleheader now. And speaking of high-scoring games, boy, these 2 games had a lot of runs scored. Picking things up in the bottom of the first, where the score is already 10-4, Sasquatches lead. That, however, is a grand slam from Lawmen rookie Luke Reed. They would get 10 as well in the first. Top of the second now, this is Brennan Tompkins pitching for the Lawmen, and he had 2 outs with only 2 runs scored in the inning, but he wasn't able to hang on to that momentum, and the Sasquatches max out again, putting up 20. Bottom of the second now, Colby Mazza pitching for the Sasquatches in this one, and he has a great inning, only gives up 1, so it's advantage Sasquatches now in the third inning. They've got the lead because of that good pitching inning from Colby, and you get the feeling that that's what winning this game is going to come down to, is which of the two pitchers can have a couple good innings. And the Sasquatches keep hitting here in the third, push the lead all the way up to 30-11. They max out again. So now we're in the bottom of the third. Kai Chaney here getting a double. That's going to lead to a nice rally, and the Lawmen get all the way back into this one. Colby Mazza, he starts walking a bunch of guys, can't find the zone. This is Chaney again putting a ball in play, but Ethan Erickson making a nice little diving catch there to finally get an out for the Sasquatches, but they get all the way back into this one. Bottom of the fourth, Riley Larson going for a grand slam and taking the lead. Lawmen up 35-33, top of the fifth. Sasquatches got to take that lead back, and A.J. Moore does it right there with a 3-run homer. Brennan Tompkins, however, is able to get a couple outs and only down by 2 at that particular moment in the final inning. So you're thinking the Lawmen could probably win this game if he's able to get them through that. But again, he isn't able to capitalize on those 2 outs, and the Lawmen put up a lot more runs. They finished the 5th inning with 47 on a triple there from Mazza. And then in the bottom of the 5th, Colby Mazza is able to close it out, and the Sasquatches win 47-38. Look at all of the hitting highlighted in yellow. Everyone on the Sasquatches just absolutely ripped the ball. All 3 hitters had at least 5 hits. Jordan Newkirk for the Lawmen had a really nice game in the field. 7 stops. That's a lot. It actually ties for 3rd most all-time in a single game. All right, second game of the doubleheader. Both teams switch pitchers, so now it's Nick Proudfit starting for the Lawmen, and he has a really good first inning when they're already up 10-0. He doesn't give up anything. As for the Sasquatches, it's A.J. Moore pitching for them, and he was worse than Colby Mazza was in the first game. This is Nick Proudfit hitting a grand slam to make it 15-0. Later, Brennan Tompkins, this is a double. They get 19 before we flip sides, and the Sasquatches need some runs, and Colby Mazza is going to help to get that started here with a double on an air from Luke Reed, goes through his legs. But Nick Proudfit just keeps getting outs any way he can. Look at this one-handed bobbling catch he makes on a liner from A.J. Moore. And then the next pitch, he strikes out Ethan Erickson to keep the score 19-1. Sasquatches down big. They need a lot of runs, and in the bottom of the third, they start kind of cutting into that. This is a base clearing triple from A.J. Moore. But one of the stories of this game is Nick Proudfit's grittiness. Look at this diving catch. Keep producing outs. In the 4th inning, Ethan Erickson checks in at pitcher, and he actually goes 1-2-3 through the Lawmen batting lineup. And so if the Sasquatches can just have a good couple of batting innings here, they've got a shot, and that's what looks like is going to happen. Colby Mazza thinks he's going to be out here, but another error in the field from Luke Reed just drops the catch, so the Sasquatches are chipping into that lead. A.J. Moore getting a double there, cutting the lead down to single digits. Top of the 5th, Nick Proudfit just putting the team on his back in so many ways in this game. Look at it. Goes for a grand slam there to push the lead back up to a comfortable margin. And then in the bottom of the 5th, he's got to try to close it out, but Colby Mazza is going to have something to say about it. There's a triple, and then later he almost has a home run right here. So Nick Proudfit got really into some danger territory here in the 5th inning, because that was the first out. But then he's able to close it out, and the Lawmen get the split 33-26. Lawmen hit a lot better in this game. Proudfit had a great batting performance, 4 hits, 2 homers, 16 RBIs. Played great in the field too, 3 fielding outs and a stop. I'm not going to say that he pitched well because he gave up 26 runs, but for him that's a pretty solid game because he's not, a star pitcher by any means. The Sasquatches had plenty of offense and especially plenty of hits, 9 total hits as a team in this game to come out as winners, but they hung on to A.J. Moore at pitcher for an inning or two too long in this game, and it just cost them too much in the end. Ethan, if they would have gone to him sooner, it might have been a different story, or just gone back to Colby. from the first game. I know he was probably tired, but they didn't have Scott Coleman for this game day, so that definitely hurt him in terms of having an experienced guy who's like actually a pitcher, because Colby Mazza, AJ Moore, and Ethan Erickson, they're not actually pitchers. They were just pitching in these games. In the end, both of these winless teams got a win for themselves, so I guess that's probably a good thing. Sasquatch is now 1-4, Lawmen 1-5, and that's the end of these highlights. This has been Game Day's Best. I'm Commissioner Cale Johnson. Thanks for watching.